there isn't much else that I can really see in your deck there. I mean, is there anything that you would like to say about your last match at all?
This one, well, it was pretty much he had nothing because, yeah, too bad for him.
It was just smash. That's all. It was just.
I started a little bit weak on the game 1, but the warning forced him to play the level 4 to drop the sniper.
Yeah.
I forgot its name. So
The marksman.
otherwise, he goes mega low and
carries on there, yeah. Now, that's interesting, actually, because we were actually talking about that, about why, because he actually did have a Dragoons in his hand. He could have started to try and get some more cards into his hand and then play around it.
He was afraid of the counter.
It was the fact that he didn't do that that meant that he didn't have anything to then play out into.
I was really looking forward to getting OTK'd, but lucky for me, I didn't.
No, it's great. So you did really well to then just turn it around and then essentially OTK him right back, especially when you were waiting for it.
Yeah, the monkey was waiting. Yeah.
Now, Berlin, capital city of Germany. Are you enjoying staying here?
So far, we've mainly been here, but actually, we took a longer trip and we'll be here all week touring and
Cool. Definitely go and visit the centre of Berlin. Absolutely fantastic place. Really brilliant, beautiful city.
Right.
Now, I think that's all we're going to have time for. Dan, thank you very, very much for coming on the stream.
Sure.
Good luck in the rest of the tournament.
Thank you.
And now we'll be right back with the next round.
And we're back. It's actually quite the chair swapping today, with short breaks in between, and then at some point we're gonna fall because it's gonna be slippery in here when everybody's running back and forth, starting to sweat and everything.
Yeah, we'll wear out the floor eventually.
Yeah. We have to charge some extra money for that to have somebody cleaning it up. All right, guys. That was our round 10 feature match. Quite interesting.
Yes.
We do see rogue decks at the top of the field continue to do well.
You say rogue decks. I wouldn't say that Mermail is a rogue deck.
Oh.
No. Mermail has been around for a very long time.
People
have played it at pretty much every single event that I've been in. There has been
some
a
people,
few Mermail players that are always there. So I would never say it's a rogue deck, just because I would say Mecha Phantom Beast is a rogue deck.
Okay.
Mermail is something that you use.
I meant it in the way that it's not a popular deck at the moment.
Okay.
It's but yes, you're right. It's probably not the best choice of words. I stand corrected.
You have some highlights for us.
Yes, we do. Even though those matches were kind of short, let's take a look at highlight number 1. This was basically the end of the first game, which was going back and forth, kind of slow, and then suddenly you could see shifting gears, and there was our... Sorry, I forgot the name. Our Israeli player? That was
Dan.
Dan. Yeah. Dan switching gears, stepping on the pedal, and that was that basically. We saw the Maxi challenge, but he just straight up ignored it. Said, nope, I'm just going to summon a bunch of monsters all in the same turn.
He'd won at this point.
Yeah.
Because he knew that he could get Exile Force 2.0 onto the field.
I think that's the development card name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Must be. Now, and then he had the Unicorn to give his Odd Eyes 2,500 extra attack, and then he was just going to hit for 4,500.
Yeah.
And then for anything else he needed to.
And 7,000 life points, no longer something that you can just like sit relaxed on and be like, yeah, I'm going to see a few more turns.
No.
Those days are long over.
Now, just before this is when we had the play where we weren't sure why he wasn't playing the Dragoons, and then so he had cards in hand, even though he would have to play around a Solemn Warning later in the future.
Right.
Just because Marksman would have been great just to get rid of the card, but when you've got no cards in hand to then carry on a play, you've completely and totally messed yourself up, especially against a deck like Pendulum that just spits monsters onto the field and then attacks.
Right, right. That was basically the first game already. I think before that, like you said, there was this one other moment, but I think that's pretty much it. The second game was, of course, dominated by a great opening hand that Dan had. Even the judge took some time to not look at the table and instead message us, that opening hand is just crazy.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at that. That was basically the start. Yeah, it was the beginning of the end, so to speak. That was the very beginning when he started to set up. And yeah, I haven't said it all weekend so far. The writing was on the wall. Would you agree?
The writing was on the wall.
Yeah.
Most definitely. 2 Karens hit. The second Karen, it's like Unicorn Squad.
Right.
Yeah. Unicorn attack force in full effect.
Is there anything that Stefan could have had that could have gotten him out of that sticky situation?
I can't think of anything.
Okay.
Other than getting a giant attack monster on the field. Just
Because I've seen that. I mean, of course, it's always okay. One player has a gigantic, cool hand and everything, giant hand, but then the other player sometimes, my hand was not good enough. That's why I couldn't combat it. And sometimes I'm like, yeah, but there's like nothing in the game that could overcome this.
Yeah. I mean, he would have been able to bring out a Megalo or something like that, something with a huge attack just to attack over the Kirans.
Yeah,
but he didn't have that.
Right. Right, let's take you to the next highlight, which is the continuation of what we just saw. This is where things got worse. You can tell, he's got everything he needs. He's going in for the kill, basically, which is a hunter term, I think. It's not referencing anything else. Just quickly, you see the hand that Stefan had on the top of the screen, and there was really nothing.
No.
There's nothing he could do. And let's just wrap it up. Just another very short segment, which is the actual end, not the beginning of the end. And this is the conclusion of our second game. And the entire thing took 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So lightning fast. Yeah, there you see the cute twin twister and the random MSC, as you guys called it. Nothing really did anything. And then that was that.
Yeah. And then he just basically...
Yeah.
Because at that point, he was able to make a huge field and just attack. And there was nothing that he could do. Nothing on the field, nothing in the graveyard, nothing in his hand. Although he did have an effect failure in hand, it wasn't doing anything.
Yeah. What would you say is the biggest strength of the Pendulum deck at this point in time, after you've seen it in action a couple of times?
It's just monkey board. I will say 100%. It's monkey board, Kirin, making huge monsters and being able to make something from nothing. Because as soon as you get a monkey board down, you've got your other scale.
Yeah.
You've got your Pendulum Source to be able to search for things. You've got so many search cards that as soon as you draw into, you have your field. That's it.
So it definitely makes sense for monkey board to be a one-off.
Yes.
And
if it was 3, then nobody would be playing any other deck.
Yeah.
I can say that with all certainty.
All right, guys. Let's take a quick look at our top tables. I'm actually surprised. I think we got rid of the fixed seatings for today. Is that possible?
We do have a few fixed left, but basically a lot of the VIPs are now gone.
Yes, that is true.
So that's why that's changed. So if we
Let's try to take you guys to the pairings for round 10. We, of course, do not have the results because we only have the results as soon as we got all the results in from the round. Only then we can update everything. But as you can see, there's one VIP remaining. That is Andrea Militano from Italy.
So if we look at what we've got there, we actually have an Atlantean there on the top tables, which is what we just saw. We have Cosmo, Domain Monarchs, Phantom Knights Burning Abyss, Phantom Knights Burning Abyss. Actually, on the top table there, I believe that might actually be pure Phantom Knights.
Oh, okay.
So that's actually quite interesting to see. I'll have to have a look at his deck list and just
Right.
see.
Well, we're definitely going to take a look at that. And then we can see Nico Schlierkamp also playing Mermail or Atlanteans. So we didn't have the only Mermail player in the field. These are the next few tables, that is tables 6 to 10. I see a couple of well-known players, in fact, with Alessandro Di Patria. Last year, he was national champion in Italy, top 4 competitor at the European Championship, top 8 at YCS Rimini, so he has had quite the year. Stefan Eichelberger also playing Mermail. Okay, I'm taking everything back now. Alessio Giordani from Italy playing Pendulum. Marum Deutsch, very funny that he's from Israel instead of Deutschland, Germany. Yeah. And then we got Florian Behrendt, Simon Zeitlin. Israel is doing really well when
Israel
you look
is
at that.
doing really, really well. We also do have, if we look at the stats just as we're going through here, we can see that Pendulum is doing incredibly well with Monarchs shortly behind. And then we kind of got the Burning Abyss, Phantom Knights, all of those different builds. I wonder what Gerlach is playing.
Sorry?
Because it's just other.
Yeah, it's
So
one of the other categories.
It's
Andreas
one of those.
Gerlach, sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take you guys a little bit more further down. There we have more known players with Norman Wilde. A couple of times he advanced to the top cut of a larger tournament. Then the focus of our little pairing here is on Kim van Kampenhout from Belgium, going up against Alexandru Neac from, that is Romania, in this round. With a very international field at the top, I gotta say.
Yeah, definitely.
Anybody else that you recognize here?
Tom Payne, he is a previous UK national
Oh, yeah,
champion.
he's on the next page. Let's bring that up for you guys.
Page.
Here you go. He's currently playing on table 16.
With Burning Abyss Monarchs.
Ooh.
Oh, that's really interesting. I will have to have a look at his deck list.
Yeah, we don't see that many other decks, but every once in a while, one is sneaking in. Here we got Martin Dorpmans, also from Belgium. Yes, and then let's go to the next side. I think here we go.
Bradley Hayward.
Those are tables 21 until 25.
Bradley Hayward there is a pro UK player. Usually tops during the national championships.
Then we got Daniel Estela in the center. Of course, he did win an event. I'm not sure which one it was. One of the recent ones. But yes, another YCS champion. Rusty Adler from Germany at the very bottom of the screen, table 25. Has advanced to the top 8 cut a couple of times. Also very experienced player. Let's just go down until table 30. This is 26 till 30. There you can see Luke Parks. UK is doing quite well this weekend.
Yeah, the UK is actually quite up there.
Yep. And Devon Amat Dakön, I think. We had him on the stream earlier. Oriel Grosh, another Israeli player. I want to know how many Israeli players showed up in the first place, because it seems like all of them made day 2. I'm guessing it's not more than, 10 or something.
I think when I was talking there to Danny, was saying basically they all play tested with Edo Marcus.
Yeah.
And they all came over together. So there was quite a large group that did come over.
Right. Here in the center you see Alpay Engin, Luka Vulovic below him, who we featured this weekend, and Brandon Buhalib with also featured him going up against Valence Le Tertre. That was yesterday. So those are our top tables. Speaking of Ido Marcus, we can actually take a quick look how he's doing. Because he seemed to be on a roll, but that was of course in round 1, and a lot might have changed since then. He is now, let's take a look at that. This is how he started his day. With a victory, and then a couple more victories against, we see Michael Chiplak.
So his first 5 rounds completely and totally just decimating. Came against a lot of Monarchs.
Yeah.
Which he was pretty prepared for.
He was happy with that, yeah. So that was, took his first loss to Joshua Schmidt. Got some tough competition, we gotta say.
Yeah.
That put him a little bit off track, and he took a second loss right after that against Friedrich Bauermeister. Suddenly, it's very interesting. You start with a 5-0, then suddenly you're 5-2. That is completely different result. But he bounces back, wins against Mijat Pejic, then loses to Jan Spieker with his Fire King Cosmo. So now he's definitely on the bubble. His tiebreaker should be good though, with a 5-0 start. That's a good way to start the day. And then he just won in round... Oh, sorry, we don't have the result of round 10, of course. So if he wins this round, I think he's still in competition, very much so. He can still get into the top 64. If he does lose another time, in this case against Sam Shepard from the UK with his Cosmo deck, I think that would be it.
Sam actually is a very good pilot of the deck, so it will be quite a challenging match for him. Interesting. I think if I'm getting this wrong, somebody will correct me, I'm sure. But Sam and his twin brother Max both play Yu-Gi-Oh, which makes things very interesting whenever I'm at a tournament and I'm trying to figure out where each of them are.
Yeah.
They tend to look at me kind of disappointingly every single time I get it wrong.
Right.
So I'm sorry. I publicly say that now. I'm very sorry for.
Yeah, it's now official. You said sorry. Right. Let's finish our little segment here with a quick look at the top of the standings. Of course, this is after round 9. Only 2 players undefeated after this round. There can only be one after this round who is still undefeated. And look at those names. Christos Mourikis, very, very experienced players. Joshua Schmidt, of course. And a couple of guys we did see in feature matches here and there at other events. That was until 8. Here we go. Here's the next page. Alessandro Di Patria on this side, also with 8 wins. And all of these guys, of course, have good tiebreakers. I'll go to 14. So let's see the next page. Aris Samaras is playing Solkin Monarchs from Greece and doing quite well. He also requested a feature match, which is the Greek way of saying hello at a tournament. They come up to you and say, feature match. And then they say, hi, how are you doing? And half the time, we actually give them a feature match because we like them. Despite that, because normally people should say hello first, but that's just me. All right, guys, those are our top 30 players. We can just quickly move down a little bit further so we can see the top 64 at this point in time. If you recognize any of the names, you can't see the decks right here, but I can tell you there are a couple of these guys playing other decks, something that is not among the most popular decks. You can just leave us a comment, of course, either on YouTube or on Twitch. And we can see if we can feature these guys. There we go to 47. Anybody else you remember? I mean, Michael Chiplak is always cool to feature him, to be honest. He's a very nice guy.
Yeah.
Plays very creative decks for the most part. Though he has given up at some point. He was like, no, I need to also do well from time to time. There we see Marcel Puri, Swiss former champion, finalist at the European Championship 2 years ago. Rafael Yasinha, we just featured a little while ago, getting ever closer to the magical 64. There we have Brandon Buhalib, also valid in competition. Peter Meyer, a 2-time runner-up in the German National Championship. I think that's a very sad record. Of course, still a great record, becoming second, but you want to win it at some point, I guess.
Yeah.
And this is the threshold. 64, you can see there's a little line there. Luka Vulovic, who we featured earlier, prior to this round, he was in there. Now, depending on if he won, he's a little more in there. If he lost, he's suddenly out and he needs to win the last 2 rounds. That is basically what it looks like. All right, guys. As you can see, the tournament is shaping up nicely. We just have 2 more rounds. 1 more round.
Yes,
just one more round. Right. It's just, I take everything back. Just 1 more round in the Swiss portion of the event. After that, we're going to cut down to the last 64 players. And then it doesn't matter if you went undefeated until that point. It doesn't matter if you had 3 losses and you just sneaked into the top 64. If you made the top 64, all bets are off and we're just starting from scratch.
It's when the real competition starts.
It is, yes. Yeah. And then we got, of course, 64, 32, 16, 8, 4, 2, 6 more rounds in the knockout portion of the event. It's going to be an exciting day, not as long as yesterday.
Tense.
It's going to be tense, yes, absolutely. All right. Let us know who you want to see in the feature match, of course. We're going to try and make it work. Next round, most likely, we're going to go with a bubble match. That means the winner is going to be in. He's in the top 64. The loser is going to be out. So everything is on the line. These guys are going to just sitting down. They're going to start sweating because they're so nervous.
Yeah. Now, we are probably going to take a little bit more of a break than usual, simply because that match ended so quickly.
Yeah.
If we do think of anything that might interest you guys, we may be back on, so please do stick with us. We have some gorgeous pre-recorded content, which we did on the Friday. Please, sit down and watch it if you've not seen it yet. Really, really nice, valuable information, some fun stories.
Speaking of watching it, if you missed anything in particular and you want to see one particular segment, you can, of course, go over to YouTube.
Yes.
Because everything has been uploaded already. So almost everything that we showed you guys this weekend, certainly everything from yesterday, is already up on YouTube. So if you want to see one particular segment, you don't have to look through the Twitch recording and just see, oh, where is it? You just go to YouTube, can immediately find it.
And because we're also live streaming on YouTube, which is a good shout out, it's pretty much on YouTube almost immediately after it's aired.
Yes.
So if you feel like you've missed a round, you're like, oh man, I wish I'd seen that, head straight onto YouTube.
Right.
It'll be there with 20-30 minutes after the match.
And you can, of course, I think it's subscribe on YouTube.
Yes.
And follow on Twitch.
That's right.
For some reason, we're using different words. That's not us, but that's the platforms. So you will get a notification whenever we're going to be live. Although we're going to be live all day, so you don't have to go anywhere. With that, we're going to take our little break, and then we're going to be back with the last round of Swiss at the European Championship 2016.
See you soon.